right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Diamond Zone. And I hope everybody had a great weekend. We did. It was a great event in Los Angeles this week. I know some of you were there. We were there on Saturday, and it was a great event. We got to meet Mr. Doug Robinson, the new Vice President of Sales and Marketing. And great vision, guys. Great experience that this gentleman has. And at this company, it's well needed on some of the things and the vision he has. And really what he shared with us was, all the things that he understands needs to be addressed, but believes that this is going to be the next big thing. And what I love about his message was he's been in-house for like 6 months on another side of the business and really watching. And really now he understands what the company needs. But one thing's for sure, you can't deny the fact there's something very special here within World Global Network. And as we play and it's embedded in your head every morning, right? It's a climb. It's the climb. It's going through and persevering through all the different things. And the people on this call, I know it's a very unique group within World Global Network, right? Not because I put it on, but it's really shows the commitment level and the number of people that you have that want to make this work. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But the purpose of this weekend with Ramasio was really a skill set training, from finding prospects, which is basically recruiting, right, to inviting, to presenting, right, to follow up and closing. Just different topics that we always cover. Okay, but I understand that in order to have the right mindset to do these necessary things, you just got to realize that the fear of loss is always greater than the desire to gain. Okay, so I'm going to kick off today, which will lead me into my training, right? I like doing this now with Mr. John Maxwell. And so watch this quick little minute with Maxwell.
Welcome to Minute with Maxwell. My name is John. Glad you're here today. I want to talk about the principle of adaptability. When people think of leaders, they think of leaders who know where they're going. They've got a game plan. They've got a vision. They've got a path. They really are sure of themselves. And pretty much they're sure that they want everybody else to get in line and get on the train and get going to where they want them to go. Let me just flip the coin a little bit today on leadership. With this word adaptability, here is what I have discovered. My best leadership moments are not when I'm just strong and know where I'm going and cast the vision and pull the train out in the right direction. My best leadership moments are when I'm adaptable, and let me explain what I mean. Leadership is an art, and the art of leadership is the ability to find your people and know where they are, and then take them where they would like to go that will achieve the goals and aims that you have. To do that, you've got to ask a lot of questions. To do that, you've got to do a lot of listening. To do that, you've got to have a lot of dialogue and back and forth, open discussion. And what I've discovered is this. I go into a meeting knowing what I want to accomplish, but I don't go into a meeting with a way to accomplish it. That's where adaptability and the leadership art comes in. I'm willing to listen to people talk. I'm willing to ask questions because I know sooner or later what will pop out of that conversation is the phrase or the thought or the idea or the statement that'll take me where I really want to go with them. And I learned a long time ago, if I take their thought and make it my thought, I can lead them very successful. If I take their answer and make it my answer, I can lead them very successfully. Adaptability is having confidence that you have the skills and the giftedness to go to where a person is, let them basically create the environment, and take that person to where they need to go. The best leaders I have ever met are leaders that are sure enough and confident enough in themselves to allow the other person to lead the conversation so they can lead the other person. John Maxwell here. Glad you're with me today on Minute with Maxwell.
Okay, so adaptability. And, you know, when you hear that, when you hear that, I'm going to put this up here just to have a talking points to it. You know, 1 second, everybody. Screen share. And I think I'm doing this. Yes, put this up. Okay. All right. So when you hear about adaptability, and I want to start off with that because we were on stage on Saturday with a panel, and they were talking about, first and foremost, the topic they wanted covered during this segment was finding prospects, right? Which is recruitment. And everybody went around the room and they talked about different ways in which to find prospects. Okay. But when it was my turn, okay, and I know a lot of you have heard this before, I believe you have to reverse engineer it one more time. In order for you to want to go out there and prospect, right, you got to work from fear of loss. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If fear of loss is greater in the beginning than the desire to gain, we have to create that fear of loss, which normally, wait, what's happening here? Oh, okay. Which normally comes from what? Okay, creating it. You got to create the fear of loss if you're going to have a reason to go out there and prospect. Okay, now here's my point. Most of us who are employed right now or who have been employed in the past didn't work at that job because of desire to gain. Normally, it was based on fear of loss, fear of losing. That's why we go to work every single day. See, unless we create this, okay, because I would love just for all of you to say, listen, you just got to create that desire. You've heard that 1,000 times. You got to find your why. You got to create your desire. Yes, I wish it was that easy to go out there and find people with desire. But I believe you got to create desire. And desire is created once you create the fear of loss. I hope you guys are following me on this. Because until I created the fear of loss, it didn't instill in me the work ethic it took to recruit. Does this make sense? Okay, I had to create that. Otherwise, if everything is fine and the bills are being paid, it's hard to motivate yourself every day to go out there and do the necessary things to recruit. In order to become adaptable, you got to create the fear of loss. Okay, now let's talk about most people, because all of us, we deal with most people. This group here is a special group. You're not most people. Most people don't get on a call every morning, right? And most people, okay, don't do the necessary things. They just go through the hamster wheel. Right? They're just doing the same thing every day, expecting different results. But this group that I'm talking to right now is going to deal with most people. Well, let's think about most people. When do most people decide to exercise? After they have some type of health event. When did my dad start exercising? After triple bypass surgery. In other words, right, that heart attack woke my dad up. And then being cut open created the fear of loss for him, that once he made it through that surgery, he said, you know what? I have to start exercising. Or I'm going to lose what? My life. When did my mom stop smoking? After emphysema. Not before, after. Once again, fear of loss. I'm going to die if I don't stop smoking. When do most people do something about their financial situation? Think, everybody, when their situation is good or bad. Everything has to fall apart before people decide to make a change. Fear of loss. So we know without a doubt we should be looking for opportunities before something happens. We should be exercising before something drastic happens. But that's not human nature. So once again, we have to know the answers to the test. So in order to create that desire to go out there and find these prospects, you have to create that fear of loss for yourself. Right? And I shared with everybody on stage what created the fear of loss for me. And I've told this story 1,000 times to all of you. Right? When I left Bally Health Clubs, I got a 6-month severance package. So guess what I did? I didn't create the fear of loss right away. I went through the severance package of doing nothing. Then I said, well, wait a minute. There's still no fear of loss because I know I have the home equity line I could pull from. I knew we had a savings account I could pull from. I knew I had credit cards I could max out. Now, when all that was done, that created the fear of loss for me. So now you understand when I said it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to deplete every avenue of money I had. Then I went to work. Now, I'm not suggesting this for you. I'm just telling you what created the fear of loss. Because now after 2 years of doing, let's just be honest, nothing, the fear of going back to get another job motivated me to recruit. Are you guys getting this? Some of you need to create that fear of loss. And once you create that fear of loss, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be as drastic as I had to go through, right? It doesn't have to be as drastic, right, to start an exercise program of having a heart attack. But you could take little steps. And the advice I always give everybody, and I gave to that room, was you got to create enough fear of loss that's going to make you do the necessary things to make the kind of money you want to make. Now, what is that? And I always say start small. You could talk about $1 million. You could talk about $500,000. But guys, you know what? How do you eat an elephant? How do you make $1 million? $1,000 at a time. That's how you make $1 million. Okay, so let's talk about that. How do you do that? You got to find something, and I know I'm being repetitive, but you know what? That's what works. You got to find something that must be paid for with your World Global Network business. Create that fear of loss. In other words, if I don't make my car payment with the money that comes from this business, I lose the car. Because would that not be a fact if you couldn't pay your car payment from your job? If you have a car payment and you don't pay it, okay, they may give you 1 month and the phone calls are going to start. They may give you 2 months, but in the 3rd month, they're going to take the car. Fear of loss, right? That's how most people operate. So now that you have that, whatever it is, I don't care if it's the electric bill. It makes no difference. If you really, really, really are going to lose, right, the ability to turn on your lights, hopefully that motivates you enough to start doing the first thing, which is recruiting. So that's how we opened up that segment. We could talk about all the ways to, but if you're not motivated to do it, who cares? Who the hell cares? I could go to a trade show if I'm not motivated to go to the trade show or to talk to my neighbor. But when you create that fear of loss, it should motivate you. Even some people still don't go to work. And those are called unsolvable problems. Right? All we can do is give people an opportunity. Now, what John Maxwell was talking about was, once you create this, once you create your fear of loss, and I'm going to challenge you to do this, create it, but make sure that you hold to it. In other words, if I have to pay a $547 car payment, it's got to come from here. And if I don't, then that bill does not get paid. Just like in real life, your bills don't get paid, right, if you don't have the money coming in. So what do? We juggle. So we can make it up on the back end, or we'll pull from somewhere else. So number one, we have to be adaptable. And when I say being adaptable, the way you prospect correctly, okay, and I love what he said, is that when you finally create that fear of loss and now you're out there talking to people, first thing you have to realize is the buck stops here. The buck stops here. I couldn't rely on corporate America, right? I couldn't rely on the steady paycheck. I knew I had to employ myself. The good news is you're in business for yourself. And the bad news is you're in business for yourself. And in the beginning, we have to make this happen. And when I say make it happen, every time a new person comes in, I have the ability of earning a percentage off a productive person, right? That's multi-level marketing. And every time I add a new person, that I know without a doubt, it gives me the ability of doubling and tripling and quadrupling my income. But who's the one that's putting the people in the system? We are. So I got to have that mentality. I'm the one that has to put together my team. So the first mindset switch I had to make was I'm employing myself. There's nobody I could call up and say, listen, what's going on? How come there's no sales? Because that's what I used to do. If I saw the production down, I just call the manager. Hey, it's Jeff. Oh my God, Jeff's on the phone. Yeah, Jeff's on the phone. What happened yesterday? I have no one to call. Who are you calling? When the paycheck comes in at the end of the week, who are you calling? You don't have a group. So what do you got to do? You got to hire your group. Yes. You got to have this mentality. You're hiring your distributors. Difference is here, there's no salary. It's commission only. And the way I find the right people is by being adaptable to what I know people are looking for. Right? I never go into a conversation assuming. I go into a conversation asking questions. And based on the questions that are answered, I could determine what this person may be looking for so I can match the opportunity to the person I'm talking to. That's how you do it. That's becoming adaptable. That's how you prospect. Right? You don't prospect talking to everybody about wearable technology. You prospect, first of all, to find the need. What is this person? Every person has a need or a want. Everybody does. But what is it? And if I could find that hot button within the person, I know without a doubt what we offer here. What multi-level marketing offers a particular person is a way to solve their problems. but I got to take on that responsibility. All of you, you're your own boss, but you need to hire for your corporation. Do you understand? World Global Network, right, provides the product. They pay the commissions, but you have your entity, and your entity needs people. So you got to go hire them. That's prospecting. Now, once again, I'm going to say it again. If the desire is there, the how-to will come. If the fear of loss is there, that should create the desire for you to have the motivation to do it every day. I'm going to say it again. If the fear of loss has been created, it should create enough desire within you to be willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish your goal. If the fear of loss is there and the desire is created, right, I am willing to put together my calendar. Because the only boss you have is your calendar. That's you. You don't have to answer to Jeff. You don't have to answer to your upline. You don't have to answer to Chad and Natita or Fabio. What you do have to answer to is your financial situation. What you do have to answer to is the calendar that you put together, not me. We don't put your calendar together. Bally's put my calendar together. Okay, but no, your boss is your calendar. That's your calendar. Right? When am I going to go to the trade show? When am I going to go to my networking event? How many phone calls am I going to make? See, we could talk about that now because the fear of loss has been created. I wish people work from desire to gain, but they don't. Most people don't. And remember, we're dealing with most people. But when you find the one person that is motivated from desire to gain, great, you found a leader. But they don't grow on trees. Okay, I never go out there to find a leader. I know where leaders are. I know how leaders talk, but I don't pre-qualify that because I know that some of our most successful people in 25 years, right, we had to create the fear of loss. They came from stay-at-home moms. They were corporate execs, right? They were blue-collar workers, but they just didn't realize they could. Multi-level marketing gives people an opportunity to say, you know what? Why not me? What does that person have over on me? Nothing. Except they took the journey, this journey of personal development. And then once you understand the concept of what we do, that's what we teach. We teach people confidence. That's what we teach. Forget the damn widget. Doesn't matter what the widget is, as long as there's a need for the widget. And we're not trying to capture 100% of the market with any widget. Do you know how many different wearables were at the CES show? Do you know how many different wearables there were? In one aisle, there was 25 other companies with their wearables. Do you think we're trying to capture? You know the fortune you can make by capturing a small percentage of the wearable market? Every industry has tons of competition. What separates? You know my answer is, I'm here. I'm not over there. I'm not with Fitbit. I'm with Hilo. That's what separates. No, there's no competition. Okay, the competition I have is within myself. That's your biggest competition. It will always be you versus you. Not whether or not Hilo has been shipped, whether it's you versus you. It's this game. Right? You know what I mean by this game? Talking to yourself. That's the game. But you know what? If that fear of loss is created, I don't hear the negative. Why? I have to make this work. Doesn't matter. It's amazing what happens. And if you have a calendar, you're going to start to maximize the time you have to put into this business. Without a calendar, how do you know what to allocate? How do you know? You got to have your calendar. You got to know who, where, and when. Who am I going to talk to? Where am I going to talk to them? And what time am I going to talk to them? Who, where, when. And the more people I prospect, because I'm adaptable, because I'm listening, this is how you work this business from power. But what's driving you for the 15th time? Fear of loss is driving you. Got to pay the car payment. Right? That's why I went to work. Right? Got to pay for this nice house. Right? We have a beautiful home in Denver. 2 brand new cars. Wife was a stay-at-home mom. Why do you think I got up every morning and went to work? Keep my wife a stay-at-home mom. Keep the 2 cars in the garage. Right? All the beautiful furniture in the house. Going out to dinner 2 or 3 times a week. That creates the fear of loss. I got to make that work. Same thing. Same thing. Think about it. Just think about it. Tell me I'm not right. I know what motivates people in the beginning. Fear of loss is greater than the desire to gain. In the beginning. Once you get confidence, now it's just about desire to gain. Got this down. Now you're a multi-level marketing professional. What does Eric Worre say? Go pro. I'm trying to show people how to go pro. But see, some people won't take that leap. They won't sell out. They won't burn the boat. When I say burn the boat based on your commitment to what you don't have to burn the boat here to cover the car payment. You could burn the boat, spare time, part-time, and cover a car payment, but you got to have a goal. Otherwise, you go week by week by week, and you're always at the same place. You see, this is how you crush procrastination, guys. The reason you procrastinate is because you're given the ability to procrastinate. You have that luxury to procrastinate. When I burnt the boat, I didn't have the luxury to procrastinate because there was no more money coming in. I couldn't procrastinate. That's the point. If you're in a situation to crush procrastination, it means you are in a situation to be able to procrastinate. Problem. That's a problem. Procrastination doesn't even come into your vocabulary if you create fear of loss. I had to go to work every day. Had to. Because if I missed a paycheck, something's leaving that house. A car's out of the garage if I didn't meet my numbers. Lisa's going back to work if I didn't meet my numbers. The house, we would have to downsize if I didn't meet my numbers. You see what happens? There's no procrastination. The alarm clock went off. I was up. I was out. I was in the shower. Right? Up at 6, in the office by 7:30, and work till 10 o'clock at night. Why? Fear of loss. So if you're procrastinating, well, great. You have the luxury to procrastinate. There's the difference. And then when you have this in place, you have clear daily goals. Not weekly, daily goals. Sometimes we're focused in on yearly. We're focusing on what I want to earn. And it sounds good. I'm going to be a presidential millionaire. Great. But yet, I've yet to become a team developer. First thing I have to do. And then all the things that we teach on all the time. See, once that's in place, now watch how fast you make a list. Watch how fast you go through your list. Watch how you don't care about the no's. It doesn't make a difference now. It makes no difference because you're motivated because you have to make this work. And that was the point I made to everybody. I said, how many people here pay every bill with this business? I think about 7, 8 hands went up. And it were the people that have hit the highest ranking. They had to pay, a bill has to be paid for. Most people just sat there. I said, well, there's the problem. You're not motivated because you don't have to make this work. So that's why you'll show up to the conferences. This is great. Woo, this is so fun. Oh, let's go dance. Let's dance for an hour. Woo. You know when you start to really dance, you don't have to be told to dance, right? When you're making $10,000, $15,000 a week. You just dance every day. Don't misunderstand my point. I want people to feel good. But I also want to be very realistic with everybody. You got to create the fear of loss. Okay? And that's it. Like I said, it took me 2 years to get there. Now, watch this. 2 people married 31 years. Lisa didn't have to create fear of loss. She was immediately motivated from desire to gain. I was most people. I had to create fear of loss because most people, let's just call it what it is, and I'm talking to myself right now, are lazy. We only do the bare minimum of what we need to do in most cases. I identified that. Doesn't mean it goes away, but see, that's how you get past it. People go, you love to work out. Not really. No, not really. If I had a choice to work out or not work out, I just like the way I feel when I work out. I like the way I look when I work out. Yeah, I'm a little vain. Yeah, so I am vain. But that's what motivates me. But if I could take a pill, believe me, I'd rather take the pill than go to the damn gym every day. But I know the fear of loss. I know what I look like when I don't work out. That's fear of loss. I know how I feel when I don't work out every day. That's fear of loss. That's what makes me go every morning or whenever I go. Same thing. Same thing here. Employ yourself. Okay, number 1, I am my own boss. And that's the good news and bad news. And today is going to be the day that I make this decision, right? And I'm going to put together my calendar. And no matter what, how do you think Eric Worre, right, can do a conference called Go Pro and talk to people that are in 500 different companies? Same principles. Doesn't matter, once again, it doesn't matter the widget. Because no matter whatever widget that you are marketing, you're only looking for 1% to join your team. So it doesn't matter about competition, does it? 1%, and we're stinking rich of any industry. Because everybody says, my industry is 300 billion, my industry is 60 billion. Okay, take 1% of that. So it's not about that, it's about the principles of no matter what you're marketing. If you create the fear of loss, you'll make anything work. Doesn't make a difference. It would make no difference if I went from health clubs, right, to tires. I had a skill set of leading people. And all I would know was people worked out and people need tires. But Jeff, right, the tire industry is very competitive. I don't care. They're paying me to market those tires. Firestone's the best tire. No. There's 500 different tire brands. No, well, Firestone's paying me, so I'm going to market this product. We get caught up in the stupidest stuff. People say, why Hilo? Because I'm here. That's why Hilo. Why coffee? Because I'm here. That's why coffee. Why supplements? Because I'm here. That's why supplements. And if there's a better opportunity, okay, it doesn't make a difference because I've burnt the boat. I've created the fear of loss. Doesn't matter. Show me an industry, one, that doesn't have competition. Show me one. But if that person, right, where there's tons of competition, started to pay you, it wouldn't matter, would it? Because you're paid to market that. Same thing here. Same thing here. Difference here is I have two things to market. If I sold tires, I would just sell tires. I couldn't sell the opportunity to teach them how to build a team of people selling tires. So not only can I offer people a way, right, to track their vitals, but the number one thing I'm marketing is to teach people how to become financially independent with this device. So when I'm listening to people, right, being adaptable, as we open this up with, I'm listening to what people need or want. I'm listening to their life. I'm listening to their day because I'm asking the right questions. And the way I relate it back to them is I understand the way you feel. I get it. And now I can match the opportunity to the person I'm talking to. That's all we do. So the point today, I think this is number 27 times, is to create your fear of loss. If you do that first, everything else falls into place because there's no choice. You don't have the luxury of procrastination because they're going to take your car if you do. So guys, love you. Diamond Zone is over. Everybody smile real big. Right? Go make yourself feel good and think about what I talked about today. Create your fear of loss. Thanks, guys. Bye. Whee!